At the National Center for Policy Analysis this week, President and CEO Alan West was invited to speak on numerous Fox News Channel shows on the breaking news of the day, such as the president's pause in the Afghanistan troop drawdown.
You cannot have a timeline when you're looking at the enemy. You have to look at what is the enemy goals and objectives.
Right,
That's
and they have
hope.
no timeline. Their timeline is patience at the plate, wait for it and undermine our capabilities, and let us put imposed timelines.
I spent 2.5 years in Afghanistan. This was their saying. You may have the watches, but we have the time.
Wall Street Journal editorial board member Mary Kissel also interviewed Colonel West.
Why do we need troops in Yemen? How big of a deal was this pullout?
Well, I don't know if it's so much that we need to have the troops in Yemen, but we need to have some type of ability to keep monitoring and intelligence gathering there in Yemen because it is strategically located.
Legislative Director Brian Williams reports the House and Senate passed budget resolutions.
The House had to choose between keeping spending levels low and adding about $20 billion extra in defense spending. The defense hawks resoundingly won that battle. The House approved the higher defense spending levels. But since the budget still balances within 10 years, everybody should come away happy. The Senate procedure is much different, where literally hundreds of amendments are offered and voted on, each amendment focused on one particular aspect of the budget. But in the end, both budget resolutions have passed, so 3 cheers for that. Congress has also been working on Medicare payment reforms. I'll leave it to my colleague John R. Graham to update you on that.
A huge supermajority of Democrats and Republicans voted for a deal that had been negotiated in secret between John Boehner, the Speaker, and Nancy Pelosi, the Minority Leader, to increase the deficit by $141 billion by increasing spending on Medicare, $141 billion, and only paying for $4 billion of it. It's going to increase the federal government's control over how physicians practice medicine, make it much more difficult to get real health reform in 2017 under a future president. It's a catastrophe. We hope we can see it stopped in the Senate, but if we don't, things are going to get much, much harder for real health reform a few years down the road.
NCPA senior fellow David Turk authored a new report on the importance of evaluating taxes with dynamic scoring.
We create models of an economic system. It could be the state, a particular state. It could be the whole U.S. economy, as it will be in our work for NCPA. And in this model that we build, we have the economy and all of its interlocking ports. That is to say, we account for how goods flow from one sector of the economy to another.
Next Friday, April 3rd, the NCPA and Hatton W. Sumner's Foundation host the luncheon event with journalist Glenn Greenwald. April 30th, the NCPA is hosting New York Times best-selling author James Rickards, author of The Death of Money. Without your support, the NCPA's work would not be possible. Thank you from America's think tank.